This 74-year-old BMW R25 has seen better days, and after taking it for a ride, I knew something wasn't right. The gearbox felt rough and the final drive wasn't smooth. I couldn't ignore the signs any longer. So it's time to tear it down piece by piece and see how bad things really are. One area I hadn't fully inspected yet was the 4-speed gearbox. From what I could tell, someone had already been in there given the marks on the housing. At this point, leaving things as they were would have been a gamble, so it was time to strip it down completely and find out what was really going on. As I dug deeper into the gearbox, the issues became clear. The gasket surfaces were uneven, the shafts weren't shimmed correctly, and a few small parts were even missing. Thankfully, I decided to open it up and take a closer look. The 3 main shafts were removed: the input shaft, the cluster shaft, and then the shift mechanism with the output shaft. And on the 2nd speed gear, I found something truly surprising: a brazed gear. Honestly, I don't know whether to be impressed or concerned, because you don't see that kind of a repair every day. Furthermore, the cam plate wasn't even secured to its shaft with a snap ring. It was literally just floating around there. Now that we found damage in the gearbox, what could we possibly find within the final drive? During the ride, I had noticed the rear of the bike felt a little bit notchy. Not terrible, but definitely not good either. First, I removed the coil spring, which provides suspension for the rear of this BMW motorcycle. It's fascinating to see how technology has evolved ever since. Next, I attempted to remove the drive shaft by loosening off the castle nut, which was actually very tricky to access due to its limited space. After that, the rear brake shoes were removed and it was time to open up this housing full of surprises. Applying heat to the case allowed me to carefully remove the final drive housing cover from the ball bearing. There was still oil inside, which is a good sign, but oil can also hide imperfections. After removing the pinion nut, I was able to extract the pinion gear, and I was not impressed. Just wait until I clean it up and show you the damage. Before that, I found remnants of what used to be a shim for the pinion shaft, along with a large metal chip. This is not looking good. The ring gear was extracted next, and now we could take a closer look at the damage. Here you can clearly see the wear caused when the shim failed, allowing the gears to mesh incorrectly and grind away at each other. Even a few pinion gear teeth are chipped away. Not only do all the bearings and seals need replacing, but so do the gears. And I'll tell you already now, they are hard to come by and they are also very expensive, so wish me luck on my search. With the gearbox and final drive issues confirmed, I didn't want to take any risks with the rest of the bike. It was time to strip it down completely and check for any and all hidden problems. I started by removing all the control cables for the clutch, throttle, and brake, before diving into the headlight bucket to pull out the old wiring harness. Honestly, I have no idea how this wiring still worked. The insulation was crumbling apart, just falling off into my hands. Pulling out the wiring harness revealed its simple layout. The top left area led to the headlight, the lower section connected to the engine electrical system, and the middle connects to the 6-volt battery wiring, with 2 more wires leading to the taillight. Now that's a pretty straightforward wiring setup. With the wiring and other components out of the way, I shifted my focus to the front of the bike. First, I removed the rubber washer dampened handlebars by loosening 2 nuts. Then I tackled the 19-inch front wheel, which was still tightened to the fork. A few taps on the axle shaft freed it, allowing me to remove the wheel and furthermore the brake assembly. Surprisingly, the front brake shoes didn't look too bad. Maybe they had been replaced at some point. I also noticed something neat on the front rim. Both the front and rear wheels use the same drive spline coupling, meaning you could swap them if one was worn out. That's a clever design choice, but it adds cost to the manufacturer as well. I just thought I'd point that out. Next, I'll remove the classic flared front fender, complete with its original German dealer plaque. The styling is so timeless. What do you think of it? While trying to remove the front forks, I ran into a problem. The oil filler caps were completely seized and I didn't have a tool that could open them. I started to think how I could make a custom tool to remove them, and in the meantime I moved on to removing the rider and passenger seats. Funny enough, the passenger seat just bolts onto the luggage carrier, which itself bolts onto the rear fender. It's really not the most secure setup if you ask me. I ended up making a custom tool to remove the oil filler caps using a flat stock bar and 2 old wrist pins. I always keep old machine parts around because you never know when they'll come in handy. After heating the cap to expand and contract the metal, I carefully used my homemade tool. The cap finally broke free with some persuasion, revealing a buildup of grime underneath. I was actually lucky to get these open without breaking them. With that done, I removed the fork bridge, headlight brackets, and fork tubes. From there, the forks came apart quickly by sliding off the fork boots and separating the chrome tubes from the inner fork legs. The springs and small components inside were finally exposed, and I could assess their damage for repairs. During the teardown, we found issues within the 4-speed gearbox, especially on the 2nd speed gear, and along with some other small components that were actually missing. The final drive gears, on the other hand, don't look any better, and it's going to be hard to repair these components, so I'll find replacements where I can. There's still a long road ahead, but I'm determined to bring this 74-year-old motorcycle back onto the road very soon. If you guys are enjoying this revival journey, feel free to subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.